Tonight, a call for accountability at the Regina Police Service. CERT makes a ruling over an officer-involved shooting 2 years ago. And prepare yourself for a Saskatchewan scorcher this week.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. A demand for accountability. That's the message delivered today by a group of women and supporters outside Regina Police headquarters. They feel trust has been lost after multiple officers have recently used police resources to gain information on women for personal use. Sierra D'Souza Butts has more on the petition they delivered and what the Police Board of Commissioners is saying.
Women and allies demanding for greater justice and police accountability.
It's not fair to the women who have been victimized by this, who are dealing with, I've met some of the victims. It is lifelong trauma.
In connection to 3 separate cases of breaches of trust and privacy by Regina Police members in recent years, a group of advocates presented an open letter and petition to the Board of Police Commissioners calling for an independent review of the Regina Police Service.
They'll never be the same again. As the one victim said, she'll never feel safe in this community again.
These are serious offenses where people are being victimized by the Regina Police Service members. This is not to cast judgment on all RPS officers.
The demand for action comes shortly after RPS Constable Clinton Duquette was charged under Saskatchewan's Privacy Act, in addition to former RPS officer Robert Semenchuk, who pleaded guilty to a breach of trust, as well as the termination of former police chief Farouk Sheikh due to inappropriate communications. The Board of Police Commissioners says its focus is to implement a number of actions over a period of time to help build trust back between police and the community.
We've all been notified that these cases need to be taken very seriously and that accessing information for not bona fide reasons will not be tolerated.
Davies says any new allegation of a privacy breach will automatically be sent to the Crown for review.
It was a very important day and meaningful to hear from those folks to talk about the impacts and really highlight why we have to always continuously be looking at our service and how we maintain and continue to build that public trust in the community.
Under the Police Act, Chief Davies says the disciplinary measures have been concluded in relation to Constable Clinton Duquette. Until his court proceedings are decided, he will remain on the force. Duquette's next court appearance is at Provincial Court in June. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The Saskatchewan Serious Incident Response Team has ruled 2 members of Regina's SWAT team did not commit an offense when they shot and killed a man during a standoff 2 years ago. On May 19th, 2024, 2 officers arrived at a residence on the 1100 block of Gary Street to arrest an individual who then told them, "If you don't get off my property, I will come outside and shoot you." Officers retreated while SWAT and crisis negotiators were called in. A little later, around 3:35 p.m., the individual did emerge from the front door with a handgun and fired several shots hitting a police vehicle. 2 SWAT members each fired 1 shot, with 1 bullet hitting the man. He would die minutes later from his injuries. CERT has determined the force by the officers falls within the range protected by law and that no charges will be laid. RCMP have charged a 28-year-old Regina man with forcible confinement and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose after an incident on a White Bear First Nation. On Sunday in the early evening hours, Carlisle RCMP received a report of a man being held at gunpoint at a home on a White Bear First Nation. He was able to escape and was treated in hospital. RCMP arrested Braden Hodamani a little more than an hour later at another residence and seizing a handgun and an axe. He is also facing attempted murder charges from an incident in Regina and will appear in Regina Provincial Court on May 28th. On the second day of Claire O'Bellin's sexual interference trial, the Crown argued for an amendment involving the date in which the alleged incident happened. Crown prosecutor Gillian Barrowman proposing that Justice Holly Cuskey-Bassett allow an amendment that expand the alleged offense dates from being on or about February 3rd, 2024 to being between August 1st, 2023 and February 3rd, 2024. Defense counsel Nicholas Robinson argued that the amendment would allow prejudice to flow into the trial. Cuskey-Bassett ultimately came to a decision to grant the amendment. The NDP is calling for the Saskatchewan Rate Review Panel to scrap their review of a SaskPower rate increase application and start all over. NDP MLA Alina Young says the Rate Review Panel has not been provided with fully transparent and accurate information. Now, the panel is currently accepting input from the public on the up-to-date increase, but the deadline for that input is on Friday. SaskPower has already raised electricity rates by 3.9% on February 1st, and they want to increase rates by another 3.9% next February. The NDP claims there has been political interference in the process and is calling for an independent energy regulator.
Every jurisdiction in Canada has an independent energy regulator. For this reason, they operate like quasi-judicial bodies. They can compel information, and utilities provide very clear information to these panels.
The government responded saying the Saskatchewan Rate Review Panel acts as an independent body that reviews proposed rate increases from Sask Energy, SaskPower, and SGI. The government also says the work of the panel ensures transparency and accountability. Well, remember how terrible the Victoria Day long weekend was with some areas receiving snow? Well, not now. To steal a line from the Glenn Frey 80s hit, the heat is on. She's coming up soon. Keenan Sorkon has more on the extreme change in conditions.
It seems like we've gone from winter to summer.
From slush to sweat, the snow is gone and the heat wave is here in Saskatchewan.
We have had heat waves into the 30s in May, but it's really that extreme difference between snow to extreme warmth.
9 days ago, many people in southern and central Saskatchewan watched snow fall to the ground, with temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. Now, many places will see highs of 30 for much of the week, with some areas expected to see close to 40 degrees by Thursday and Friday.
So, yeah, we are expecting potentially to expand those heat warnings as the week progresses.
Not only is this surge of heat unusually early, it's the warm temperatures hanging around in the evening that's concerning emergency preparedness organizations.
When it's staying at like plus 15 overnight, is just locations aren't having a chance to cool, the air temperature's not having a chance to cool, so that heat just feels even more oppressive. It's more impactful. And so that's why we're really concerned.
First responders say seniors living in condos and apartments without air conditioning are most at risk.
If you have relatives or friends or neighbors who are living in those kind of conditions, reach out and check on them.
The heat warning is in effect from Estevan all the way to Meadow Lake. Temperatures this week are at least 10 degrees higher than seasonal norms for this time of year. And while these could be the hottest days of the year, Desjardins says El Nino conditions arriving in the next month or two could mean more days like this across Saskatchewan.
I wouldn't discount that it could happen again this summer.
Keenan Sorkon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
All right, Sabine joins us with our first look at weather. Yes, the heat is on. It's on the streets, Sabine. It's also on your weather map behind you. A lot of warnings out there.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of warnings. Now, the good news is we did see some severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the southwest. They have changed to watches now. Okay. There's just a little area that has moved to the warning. So the opaque yellow is the area where we're still seeing severe thunderstorm warnings. The rest are watches, and those heat warnings have extended into the Meadow Lake, Prince Albert area. So we're probably going to see them move into the Parkland heading into tomorrow, because those 30-degree temperatures, as we already heard, are expected to stick around into this week and actually into the weekend. So warm temperatures, daytime highs, and even the lows, where we already heard that there won't be much relief from the heat that we're experiencing during the day. So the average is about 20 degrees. We warmed up to about 32 late this afternoon. Sure, we did have some of the winds picking up, gusting up to 50, but I don't feel like it really made a difference when it comes to any relief. But I'll have more details coming up in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Visitors to the Saskatchewan Legislative Building will notice that the front steps are being removed. Hard not to. Today, crews began lifting the heavy granite slabs to allow for structural restoration. The steps are sitting on a concrete frame that has shifted since the building was constructed in the early 1900s. And if you live in Regina, that's not a surprise. Removal of the steps will allow for leveling and stabilization. The work is being done in stages for continued access, and construction is expected to be completed by the end of July. A new survey has found nearly half of respondents in the prairies would skip a wedding in order to buy a home. Stacey Hine has more on a new dilemma: ring or real estate?
It's a question of marriage versus mortgage. As costs rise, some couples are saying "I do" to smaller weddings in order to buy a home. For those currently planning their big day in Saskatoon, it's a decision they know all too well.
We are thinking of a smaller wedding, like max 100 people, or just eloping, just because we actually don't own a house yet, and things are expensive out there, especially in the wedding industry.
We already own a house, luckily. We lived with our parents for a long time, but I definitely understand why people are choosing to do a smaller wedding, because it's crazy expensive.
One Saskatoon officiant says he's seeing more elopements, with couples focusing on everyday costs rather than large ceremonies.
I have a lot more couples just come to my house and we sign on the kitchen table, and then they're going off to a destination, or they'll get around to doing a wedding. But right now they're more focused on, the day-to-day stuff.
Wedding planning platform Your Wedding Atlas estimates the average cost of a wedding in the Prairie region ranges between $25,000 and $30,000. After surveying about 1,700 adults across the country, Royal LePage says about 48% of respondents in Saskatchewan and Manitoba said they would skip a wedding or scale back their plans to afford a down payment on a home. One Regina real estate agent says it's a trend she's noticing too.
They're pushing the wedding date off to a further date, looking at purchasing the home first.
Leah Graham says limited housing inventory and changing priorities are playing a role.
Traditionally, you start off small and you get a condo, or you would get a small home that needs repairs.
Graham says with renovation and repair costs adding up, many buyers now see more value in a home they can stay in long term. For some couples, that means putting home ownership ahead of a big wedding. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A 20-year-old woman from Saskatoon has left the comforts of home to help with the war effort in Ukraine. She plans to provide humanitarian aid to residents in the country during her summer break from school at a time when attacks in Ukraine are intensifying. Carla Shinkaruk has the details.
Yes. Taisa Rudy has been in Ukraine for about 2 weeks.
It's always been in the back of my mind to come to Ukraine. So worked a whole bunch, saved up my money, and I'm super fortunate that I have such a huge support system at home.
A sociology student at the University of Saskatchewan, she paid more than $5,000 to spend her summer helping Ukrainian Patriot, an international aid group started by a woman originally from Saskatoon when the war began.
I have a bucket list of everything I want to achieve in my life, and going to Ukraine was #1 on that list and has been forever.
You just want belly rubs? One of her first assignments involved caring for pets abandoned because of the war.
So I have one of my Canadian pins on there that I pinned.
Now in the capital city of Kyiv, Rudy is experiencing the reality of a war zone firsthand. Russian attacks have been escalating, including a major air attack on the city this past Saturday. She was outside Kyiv at the time. Now she keeps a go bag ready in case she needs to take shelter.
But I need to do what I'm here to do, and I need to help out however I can help out. When you're walking and hearing the air raids, it brings a different sense of nerves to you.
She's now waiting for her next assignment.
With the war going on, you can't always predict everything that's going to happen. You go to where is most needed.
She says she's ready for whatever comes next, committed to helping people who share her Ukrainian roots and moved by the devastation many families have faced.
It's really sad for me to see so many places that people have just left because they had to. There was a full family using this house, and this was what they called their home.
Rudy hopes others will also consider helping, whether through donations to Ukrainian Patriot or other aid organizations, so support for people in Ukraine can continue. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Saskatchewan is coming out big for the Snowbirds' hometown show this July, with the Moose Jaw Show already a sellout. The Snowbirds are in their final season in their current form as the team's aging Tudor jets enter retirement. Ottawa has announced that a replacement turboprop aircraft will eventually see the team return to the skies, but the Moose Jaw Show on July 11th will be the last Snowbird public performance in Saskatchewan with that Tudor jet. Organizers say the sellout comes in record time after less than 2 days on sale. They also caution over attempts for scammers to try to sell fake tickets online, and they ask people to be diligent.
Greetings, everyone. Indigenous languages are more than tools for communication. They're also used to express culture and a unique worldview. That's what a new show premiering this year hopes to showcase, bringing the Nakota language in a new, fun way to young viewers and young learners. CTV's Hallie Madrick tells us more.
Speak Nakota.
Nakon Ia with Kushi is a new children's show intended to help restore the Nakota language, which has fewer than 100 fluent speakers left.
To help save and preserve the language as we're going, as well as to help pass it on. It's just incredibly important that we do this, and it starts in the home. It starts with children, with the generation that we have now, right?
Produced at Saskatoon's Bamboo Shoots, Nakon Ia with Kushi features knowledge keeper Teresa Owatch and her puppet companion Kushi, who speaks in Nakota. The 13-episode series is designed for kids aged 5 to 9, but Owatch says it's truly for the whole family.
For our language to survive, we need the parents to start bringing it into the homes and not just in the schools. We need it in the homes, and this is that opportunity to do that.
While Genero has worked on many TV shows and films throughout his career, a children's show is a first for the director, and he says a lot of attention has gone into the details.
I'm watching heavily on what that tone is, matching the tone from, the shot before, thinking about the next shot, making sure that, we have that tone. And I want the tone to be like a big, warm Nakota hug.
The director added that this project is a first of its kind.
It's all in Nakota, and you know how special that is, because I'm watching something that has never been done for the first time, right? And being able to direct that is such an honor.
Owatch says there's a lot of optimism behind this project.
We're hoping that this is going to blow up the Nakota. We're hoping that every home and every child, whether you're First Nations, Mexican, Italian, that you're speaking the language. That's what we're hoping for.
Nakon Ia with Kushi is currently in production, and the team behind it is hopeful for the show to hit television screens this winter. For Indigenous Circle, I'm Hallie Mandrick.
If you have a story you would like to see in this segment, here's how to reach us. You can contact me by email, and you can also watch past episodes and segments of Indigenous Circle on our CTV Regina and CTV Saskatoon websites.
Indigenous Circle, brought to you in part by Saskatchewan Indigenous Enterprise Foundation, growing the First Nation entrepreneurial spirit.
Still ahead, how united are Western premiers with Alberta's separation referendum hanging over meetings? And a Liberal MP is set to quit over the Prime Minister's pipeline deal with Alberta. As Western and Northern premiers have wrapped up their two-day summits, and while economic issues were discussed, the entire meetings were overshadowed by Alberta's referendum into how interested residents are in separation. Tyson Fetter has the details.
It was smile for the camera for Canada's western and northernmost premiers as the two-day summit in Kananaskis wrapped up.
We had a productive discussion sharing successes and lessons learned.
But this conference would not include Alberta in the future if Albertans vote in favour of having a separation referendum and the Leave Confederation side wins. BC Premier David Eby and Premier Danielle Smith have had a strained relationship over pipelines and the MOU signed by Alberta and the Prime Minister.
I disagree profoundly with Premier Smith's referendum. I think it is a huge mistake. And Premier Smith disagrees with me profoundly about issues related to a pipeline to the North Coast and the North Coast tanker ban. That's okay.
And to race the actions of BC premiers going all the way back to Christy Clark to set up barriers and try to derail our economic infrastructure to the coast.
As a sign of a Team Canada approach, Premier Eby gifted the premiers of Yukon, Northwest Territories, Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Alberta with a Team Canada Soccer World Cup jersey ahead of next month's tournament. BC Premier David Eby has railed against Smith's separation plebiscite, calling separatists treasonous.
I remain incredibly anxious, frankly.
It would be a disaster for the Yukon if Alberta were to leave Canada.
2 weeks ago, an Alberta court threw out a separation petition due to the failure of the province to consult with First Nations on the question, even though it was a citizen-initiated petition. That caused friction with Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew and Smith.
But we want to make sure that we have a very clear understanding of what the duty to consult really means and what it doesn't mean, and I think at the moment there's a lack of clarity on that.
It is not up to the petition gatherers to fulfill the duty to consult. It is up to you as the Alberta government to fulfill the duty to consult. Why don't we hold off on this referendum talk for a year or two and see if we get these pipelines under construction.
For political watchers, the meetings were a clear sign that federal cooperation can work, despite the tensions between leaders.
This is the essence of democracy at its best, where those disagreements are frank and fraught sometimes, but that they yield agreement.
Tyson Fedora, CTV News, Kananaskis Country.
As for Saskatchewan's premier, here's what Scott Moe had to say today on how the 2 days of meetings went.
And so I have had conversations at the Western Premiers Conference in years gone by and the Council of Federation Conference in years gone by about putting forward motions in that theme to actually change the Constitution. That was the only way that we saw as possible to get the changes that we needed with the current leadership that we have. Today, that's different. You can pick up the phone and you can talk to the Prime Minister. And I don't think there's anybody here that feels that they can.
Former Environment and Climate Change Minister Stephen Guilbeault's time as a Liberal MP is coming to an end, according to sources. Guilbeault previously resigned from cabinet, citing the government's shift on climate change policies, and Wednesday is expected to walk away from federal politics completely. Mike Lecouture has more from Ottawa.
Prime Minister, Mr. Guilbeault, has he told you about his future, sir?
Prime Minister Mark Carney sidestepped questions about his former minister, who will soon become his former MP. After nearly 7 years on Parliament Hill, Stephen Guilbeault confirmed to CTV News that he is quitting politics. He's expected to make it official at the Liberal caucus meeting on Wednesday.
I really appreciate his work, his advocacy, and I'm fully respectful of his decision.
Now, last year, Guilbeault resigned from cabinet after the federal government inked a memorandum of understanding with Alberta with a plan to build a new pipeline. The further rolling back of Trudeau-era environmental policies was seemingly the breaking point.
I'm a good friend of Stephen.
Industry Minister Melanie Joly says past policies on climate change weren't perfect.
We've seen the good impacts of that policy, but we've seen also the downfalls. And we need to be able to do both. We need to make sure that we bring Albertans on board.
Guilbeault's departure comes as more than a dozen Liberal MPs wrote to the Prime Minister last month, expressing concerns over policy changes like the new industrial carbon price in Alberta.
I believe many others are questioning themselves, and they should stand up and leave that party if they do believe the environment is important.
Are you worried about seeing a majority over environmental policies and some resignations?
No. The leader of the Green Party worries the Prime Minister has changed.
I don't find that there's anything left, whatever it was that I thought Mark Carney cared about relating to the climate crisis. I no longer find any traces of it in his policies.
Liberal Nate Erskine-Smith is also stepping down, while Jonathan Wilkinson has been appointed as the ambassador to the EU. The three departures will eventually trigger more by-elections, which could affect the Liberals' thin majority. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada is bringing in stricter measures in response to the Ebola outbreak right now in Africa. Starting Saturday, all travelers will be assessed by border officials. Those who have symptoms will be transferred to hospital. In addition, some travelers from Ebola-affected regions will be required to self-isolate for 21 days. Immigration authorities also temporarily suspending decisions on applications from the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Uganda. Coming up, a few Denair Beach residents who lost their homes to a wildfire are turning their pain into art.
Welcome back. Taking a look at what's to come for the forecast. But first and foremost, a beautiful day in the Queen City. People are taking advantage of the beautiful weather out on Wascana Lake. As we take a look at our current temperature, sitting at 29 degrees. The humidity is sitting at about 35%. So combining that with the air temperature, feels still like about 31 degrees right now, with the winds at 30, gusting to 40. So coming down from about 50, 51 kilometers an hour that we did see through most of the afternoon. Now, the warnings that we were talking about, the heat warnings will probably remain in place for the next few days, but we do have that severe thunderstorm warning, and you can see exactly where that storm is coming through. Now, the rest of that southwest area that was passed earlier in those severe thunderstorm warnings have switched to watches, and it is just this little patch exactly where we are seeing that storm activity making its way through. Could possibly see, as that system continues to move, where those severe thunderstorm warnings also move with this system. But as of right now, we're going to continue to see these heat warnings in effect for most of the province. Now, like I said, we're not seeing them in the Parkland area yet. However, the Parkland will continue to see warmer temperatures staying in the 30s for the rest of the week, so we may see those warnings stretch into the Parkland. In terms of what's to come, though, seeing that little bit of that storm activity, which is basically what we're seeing in that area where those warnings are. And then as we continue into tomorrow, we're back into mostly clear conditions, not really dealing with anything when it comes to active weather, severe thunderstorms, or even any type of rain, except the little scattered pockets that we see coming through parts of the southwest. They're just south of Maple Creek Wednesday evening. Other than that, it's a little bit of cloud cover that we will see rolling in and out. For the most part, though, mainly sunny conditions for most of southern Saskatchewan. But again, with the combination of these really warm temperatures and that humidity, then that is where we see the development of possibility of some storm activity. The temperatures continue to be in the 30s for most of the province, and the lows also being warmer than what those average lows usually are. Mentioned for Regina, we're usually sitting around +6, +7. They're going to be much warmer than that, so we're not seeing the relief from these warm temperatures. 32 tomorrow for Prince Albert, mainly sunny. 29 mostly cloudy for Lloydminster. 22 for La Loche. 24 mainly sunny for La Ronge. Saskatoon 32, along with North Battleford 32 there. 29 and a mix of sun and cloud for Yorkton. The southwest back into the 30s again. 34 expected as a daytime high for Moose Jaw. 33 for Swift Current, Maple Creek 32. 34 also for Weyburn and for Estevan tomorrow. 33 with a mix of sun and cloud for Assiniboia. May or may not have noticed that storm activity is hovering around the Assiniboia area, so could see a risk of a thunderstorm coming through that area. But for Regina tonight, winds picking up, gusting up to about 60 kilometers an hour overnight. The low is 16 degrees, so not really cooling down at all. And then tomorrow warming back up to 32 degrees, mainly sunny with the winds at 55 kilometers an hour. Now, as we take a look at what's to come, more of the same. 32 winds at 55 tomorrow. Thursday is looking like it's going to be most likely the hottest day in most of Saskatchewan. Thursday is 35 degrees, nothing but sunshine, and the winds gusting up to 55 kilometers an hour. By Friday, 34, winds still quite high, up to 50 kilometers an hour. Saturday, 32 degrees, and then by Sunday, we will see the winds picking up a bit. And Sunday, we could actually see some rain in the mix, mostly late afternoon, early evening with that rain coming through, but still expecting a daytime high of 30 degrees. And it's not until we get into Monday where we start to see a cool down. 27 is the expected daytime high with more cloud cover. And then by Tuesday is when we get back into the seasonal range with those temperatures at 23 degrees. But this rest of this week, and again with the heat warnings, vulnerable people, you want to make sure they're taken care of, especially in this heat. Don't spend too much time outdoors if you don't have to.
All right, good advice, Sabine. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Charred artifacts pulled from the ruins of a Saskatchewan wildfire are actually on display at the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. They're part of an art show staged by Denair Beach residents called Transformed by Fire. As Wayne Mantika tells us, it shows how lives were changed when a wolf fire ripped through their community.
Losing everything was devastating for Denair Beach residents touched by the massive wolf fire.
It destroyed 240-ish homes, cabins, and basically there was so little left.
Some residents returned to sift through the ruins of their property and found that a few items had survived. They have become part of an art show at the Legislative Building called Transformed by Fire.
And that transform by fire sort of talks about the items in the fire that were changed and transformed, but it also talks about our lives that were transformed and changed, and our whole environment. Our homes, our forest, all the environment around us, it has changed.
Some members of the legislature attended the show's opening at the Cumberland Gallery. They understood what the artists were trying to portray.
It's also the time to rebuild and a time for renewal, and for people just to come to terms with what has happened and to look forward to the new.
For some Denair Beach residents, the show is part of the healing process.
It was very emotional. But it was also kind of cleansing a little bit, trying to speak through my artwork rather than my voice.
Some Denair Beach residents hope their show at the Legislative Building will help government and the public understand the devastation caused by wildfires and the need to be well prepared. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead, a rookie CFLer is hoping to trade in his sales job chasing commission for chasing quarterbacks with the Riders.
Here's a look at what's happening in our community. Collectible Show is happening on May 30th at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Northgate Mall, located at 489 Albert Street. For more information, you can email sportsworld@sastal.net. And Crocus Art and Artisan Sale is happening May 30th to 31st at 10 a.m. at the Pilot Butte Arena, located at 222 Diamond Place in Pilot Butte. For more information, head to pilotbuttearts.ca. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. Over the offseason, the Riders lost a few key names on their defense, but a new face looks like he might have an edge in filling one of those spots.
Back to pass, feels the pressure, steps up in the pocket, trying to get away. Here comes the heat, and the Riders get home. It's a cool play.
With DNs like Malik Carney, Shane Ray leaving Riderville, a sought-after name this offseason was Desmond Evans. The 6'6", 23-year-old appears to be fitting right in. He got a sack on Saturday against Winnipeg. And after trying his hand at the NFL, the former North Carolina Tar Heel said he accepted a sales job in Georgia, but the Riders wouldn't stop calling.
Didn't know if I was going to play football or not. Like I told my guy right here. I got a call. It was calling me nonstop, right? And then I just, decided, hey, let me give another shot. I'm only 23 years old. Just another opportunity to play football again. I say the last time I stopped playing football, it was like a deciding, I'm going to get a chance to play football again or not.
Now, speaking of the defensive line, one player who recently hung up the cleats is still with the team and is now coaching that position. Donovan May says more on Micah Johnson's transition to the sideline.
Second down and 10 from the 26. Pressure. Micah Johnson has it.
It didn't take long for Micah Johnson to go from lining up on the defensive line to coaching it.
Obviously, the opportunity presented itself, and for me, it was just a matter of playing for another year or two like I know I could, or just, at some point, just getting ready for that transition to the next phase.
After a 12-year Hall of Fame caliber career came to an end this past offseason, Johnson says he already felt like a coach by the time he hung up the cleats, making the transition into his new role nearly seamless.
I've always been a leader every room, so for me, that part, that's the easy part, that's the natural part.
I've had some great coaches like Cornell Brown, Mace himself. Micah Johnson's up there, man.
Johnson was already a veteran when he and Mike Rose became teammates in Calgary in 2018, joining forces again in Saskatchewan last season. And the passing of more than a decade of football knowledge hasn't stopped.
He's trying to make us not robots. I think the biggest thing is he's trying to make us have some free will, have the ability to make a play, and having the confidence to make a play.
It's very key when you want to win games, right? You want to be that team that's undefeated, right? So we're going to actually identify the fish that's on the offensive line and then, put your best guy on them.
And while Johnson has settled into retirement, there's still a few lingering habits still hanging around.
The preseason game, he's still got his headphones in, he's getting hyped still. I'm like, hey, you ain't playing, but that's just who he's always been and how he is, and that's how his group's going to be wired.
It's a lot of little things like that I got to break myself of, right? Just that energy before games just like, yeah, you can chill out, right? All you're going to be doing is signaling.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
And the Riders have signed former Regina Thunder and U of R Rams offensive lineman Connor Clausen. The Big River product was drafted by the BC Lions in the 4th round of the 2025 CFL draft, but was released by the Lions earlier this month. Clausen was an All-Canadian in junior football with the Thunder back in 2022.
You know, he's got obviously some CFL experience as well. It made it really easy that he's a local guy. We can get him in here and get into practice right away. So, yeah, man, it's going to be probably a little bit overwhelming for him, just trying to learn everything from scratch. But, you know, obviously coaches who are very familiar with him from his college days feel very confident that he'd be able to pick it up.
To make room for him on the roster, the Riders released American D lineman Marcus Haynes. WHL, the Regina Pats have signed this year's first-round pick goaltender Fletcher McDonald to a WHL scholarship and development agreement. Selected 9th overall, the highest Regina has ever taken a goaltender in a draft. McDonald played under-15 hockey in Edmonton. Last season, he was selected to play in the Alberta Cup. It features the best U15 players in Alberta, leading his team to the title. He attended Pat's spring development camp last week. Still ahead, a look inside Nutrien's U of S pilot plant.
All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at your rural forecast heading into tomorrow, and same story. Warm, 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 and a lot of sunshine. 32 degrees for Waterson, Kindersley, 33 for Outlook, 30 for Meadow Lake, Lloydminster, Spiritwood, Melfort. Lloydminster expecting a little bit more cloud cover, but still very warm temperatures. 29 for Wynyard and sunny, and 28 for Hudson Bay. Closer to the southern border, pretty much the exact same temperatures. A little warmer for Coronach, 34 degrees there. 33 for Assiniboia, Rockland, and for Rosetown and Leader. 32 for Lumsden, Pilot Butte, Maple Creek. 31 for Carlisle. 30 for Broadview. 29 for East Sun, Cypress, and Kenora. 28 and mainly sunny. Taking a closer look at Buchanan, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. Mainly sunny conditions. 27 is the expected high. Winds up to 50 kilometers an hour. With the humidity, this 27 could feel closer to about 30 degrees. And then for the rest of the week, expect Buchanan to also see those 30-degree temperatures into the weekend. It's Saskatchewan Mining Week, a time for the industry to tout its importance to the provincial economy, from uranium to potash. And today, Nutrien gave journalists a peek inside their pilot plant at the University of Saskatchewan, where the company is looking to make potash mining more efficient. Laura Woodward takes us inside.
And our screens here have 2 decks.
This is the Nutrien pilot plant, a Saskatoon facility where engineers test new ways to make potash production more efficient, safe, and cost-effective. The work done here aims to improve the quality of potash used to make fertilizer for farmers.
So this space gives us the opportunity to de-risk projects. We can run experiments here, we can run mini circuits here without disrupting the operations, which can have real impacts if we shut down production, right? And so this is a safe space to test that kind of stuff and to do those projects.
The facility includes labs, testing areas, and workshops.
It's really cool and unique that there's a mini scale mill in here, and you can do so many cool, innovative things with it.
One of the most important areas is the flotation cell, where potassium chloride is separated from the rest of the mined material to create potash fertilizer. New control settings and technology can be tested here before they're introduced at Nutrien's 6 Saskatchewan mines. The pilot plant played a major role during mine expansions in 2010, refining new equipment before it went into operation.
And we brought them here, optimized the design over the course of 6 months to a year, and worked with our vendors, and we were able to install something back at the sites before they needed them to actually start producing potash.
And as technology evolves, so does the search for the next big improvement in potash production.
You know, there's still so much to learn and so much to discover. So I think it's exciting to be a part of that possibility.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
All right, let's take a look at the farm market board. Street price is up $6.70 to $708.75 per ton, with a futures price drop 40 cents to $746.60 per ton. Street price for amber durum wheat, $278.59 per ton. Red spring wheat is down 14 cents to $295.83 per ton. Feed barley, $250.88 per ton, and flax is $630.54 per ton. Prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. The markets, the TSX dropped 177 points. The Dow Jones dropped by 118 points. The Canadian dollar went up by 0.06 of a cent to 72.40 cents US. Commodities, gold, it went down by $62.62. West Texas Intermediate crude down $2.71, while Western Canadian Select crude stayed the same. And gas in Regina staying the same at just under $1.80 per liter.
Equifax puts total consumer debt at about $2.7 trillion, and that is up almost 4% from last year. Insolvencies are up almost 19% in the first quarter of the year compared to the same quarter in 2025. They are at a level not seen since 2009. But there are some positive trends. Fewer new credit cards are being printed, a sign consumers are spending less and saving more. And the number of Canadians missing at least one credit payment is stable at 1 in every 21 consumers. Space stocks are hitching a ride on the coming IPO of SpaceX. Investors hyped about Elon Musk's company going public, which is expected to happen in June. Today, space and satellite stocks soared, with Canadian satellite and robotics firm MDA Space gaining almost 5%. Bombardier stock spiked early in the day after the private jet maker announced it's selling jets to Australia. They'll be used to patrol the country's border. The selling price for the 3 Global 6500s hasn't been shared. Bombardier has been working to grow its defense business. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, we've got a CTV movie, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Some people feel that's the best Star Wars.
Really?
Those people are crazy. Big Bang Theory, I'm just joking. A lot of people love that one. It's one of the best. Big Bang Theory at 10 o'clock, E-Talk at 10:30. All right, remarkable video shows the power of fast-moving water after a car became stuck on the edge of a falling bridge. Look at this.
Yeah, the video shows the tense moment just before the structure gives way, and then the bridge collapses and the car is swept away as if it were a floating pool toy. The driver and the passenger all managed to escape. They say the vehicle malfunctioned and wouldn't go into reverse. That's terrifying.
Well, thank goodness they got out of that. But that's, we saw how fast the waters went in Saskatchewan, too, with the flooding, for sure. Yeah. Canadian astronaut Josh Kutrick went home this week when he stopped by the U of Calgary to share details about his upcoming mission to the International Space Station.
Kutrick will leave Earth in September for the ISS, where he will live and work for 6 months. He says this will be a unique mission because of all the science he will have the chance to do. Many of those experiments are coming from the University of Calgary, and he'll do his best to make sure they're a success. Kutrick also says it's an honor to represent Canada in this space program.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good in the space program recently. Of course, with one in Artemis, too. Yeah,
it's cool to see. Something else I love, a college baseball pitcher is becoming a viral sensation thanks to a secret weapon he keeps nearby on the mound.
You might notice he has a little dinosaur with him on the mound. His name is actually Jerry the dinosaur, and Angel keeps him in his back pocket, and Jerry will join him in every single time he's pitching on the mound. Just a sense of...
Turns out UCLA pitcher Angel Cervantes keeps a little dino buddy with him on the mound. When he looks down, takes 2 breaths, looks at Jerry as a way of calming him down. Angel's a 2025 pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates, so time will tell if Angel and Jerry will make it to the big leagues someday.
It is giving major league vibes. I feel like that's something we would see in the movie.
Well, do you have like a little article on your desk that like makes you go, oh?
I have all my Nugget buddies on my desk right now.
yeah. I have something I keep at the desk too.
If it's what I think it is, I knew it. I hate this doll.
I come smiley.